Rosemary. It's such a pleasure to see you again. It's been
Oh,
too long for me. It's been too long. And so good to see you again. First of all, how are you?
what's that? Sorry.
How are you?
How are we? How
Are
are
we? Sorry. Sorry. How are we?
Well, it depends. It depends. Honestly, it's a very loaded question, Stephanie. How are we? How am I? We're sort of starting still getting used to who we are, who I am. We with the hive that we were, the I without the hive. Now. It's also confusing and also exciting. So how am I, Stephanie? Fractured, but wonderful.
That was the first question I had for you because something Match Reward and so many fans said on TV when you made your way to the ring to face Jordynne Grace. They said, this is not the same Rosemary that we are seeing right now. What do you think changes over the last few weeks that made you come with this butcher meat knife and put a black rose on the body of your opponents? What happened?
It's difficult to say. Perspective, perception, a drive, a need to consume, a need to be whole, and yet I need to be more broken than ever. It's interesting that
Nobody
some
wants to be
broken
broken,
entity is
girl.
back. Because that when broken Matt was around last time when we were trying to kidnap Maxwell and we were killing things with knives and cleavers, that was when we felt the most vicious, the most wrathful, the most demonic. And he's back. And we start to feel a little bit more vicious and a little bit more chaotic. And maybe it's not the same Rosemary you're used to, but maybe it is. Maybe it's all of the same Rosemarys you're used to all at once.
Yeah. I was asking myself, uh, who was the target? Was it Ash by Elegance? Was it Jordan? Was it the World Championship? Because since Slammiversary, it's been quite like a cat and mouse game, and I don't know exactly who is the target. Is it Jordan? Is it the World Championship? Is it Ash by Elegance? I'm sure you ate pink, but yeah, what are driving you right now?
Bloodlust. The desire to take back the power that's been taken. Ash took something. And it's gone on far too long that when you take from the demon assassin, somehow there's no consequences. Somehow it's just okay. And that's just not going to hold up anymore. Now, when you take from the demon assassin, there'll be consequences. The demon assassin will take from you. And Ash is the reason Havoc isn't here. Ash is the reason Havoc is gone. Havoc was ours. Havoc we loved. And we will take something that Ash loves. I'm not sure what yet. It
She's
does
very about
irritate
love.
her when when the personal concierge is in trouble, but I don't think he loves something. Perhaps that world championship that she wants so badly off of Jordynne. Maybe that's what she loves. Maybe that can be taken from her. An opportunity, maybe another match that can be ruined for her, like she did mine.
I would love you to bring Ash to the under the realm. She would love
Doesn't
that.
deserve it. She doesn't deserve it with her skin still on.
Yeah, it was pretty, um, well, pretty. I love the way your character evolves, but never change at the same time. Um, it's been 8 years now,
Mhm.
and just um, you never change. You change, but you never change in some ways.
A
I
constant, a
love that.
catalyst, Stephanie. The landscape at TNA has been changing week to week, every single year. There are so many different more competitors, so many more different enemies, so many more different potential allies, but the Demon Assassin remains constant. The Demon Assassin remains unchanged and yet changed by everything, as you say. You can depend on us. That's why the Hive has come to know that they can trust the Demon Assassin because we will always be true to the Demon Assassin, the Hive, the Shadow. Everything we've said for the past 8 years still rings true. We've never lied to the Hive. We've never lied to anyone. You can
No,
trust
it's been 8 years now, and
us.
you've never lied about who you are and what.
Never hidden it.
Yeah, and what is the goal now? You said World Championship, of course, but when Havoc is back, do you wanna take the tag team championship again?
Is she coming
Uh,
back? Have you seen
I
her?
don't know. I
There's
don't
been no
know.
sight of her. We can't find her, and it's all Ash's fault. So that it's time to concentrate on the first step, the next step. How do we get Habit back? You say when Habit's back. How do we get Habit back? We get rid of Ash.
Ooh.
Step one.
Ooh.
Step one. Step two. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out when we get there.
Like that.
Mhm.
Like that so much. Uh, you've been that. I've been writing on TNA for 7 years now, so you
Oh,
have
wow.
always been there. That's something I treasure a lot to see people that always there and always um, still being in TNA. And what makes you stay um, a part of TNA? 8 years is a long time in a
A
career.
very long time.
And why being so, try to find the word, remain
Stubborn.
with the company, being there and keep spreading your darkness to the company. I think, yeah.
It's because of that evolution, Stephanie. You see, as we said over the years, the landscape of TNA continually changing. It's never been stagnant for the Demon Assassin. It's never been boring. Everything's always been refreshing. Everything's always been new and yet familiar. And that's exciting, something for us to cut our teeth on. All sorts of new competitors coming through that door, ready to test themselves against the darkness and the full power of the Shadow and the Demon Assassin Rosemary. That's why we stay at TNA, especially now, if you haven't noticed, with this partnership with NXT. More so than ever, there are people who want to come to TNA to find that kind of competition. And for 8 years now, Rosemary has been competition in the Knockouts division. If you can survive us, perhaps you can survive it here.
Yeah, as you noticed, I put a t-shirt to say yes. So I fully agree with you.
Yes.
I mean, and why not you coming to NXT? Would you bring the darkness to NXT
Could
and
they
show
handle
the girls out there what is really darkness?
Could they handle that, Stephanie? Have they seen true darkness since Well, since The Undertaker was truly causing chaos over there, have they really seen an entity that has been allowed to unleash the kind of chaos? The Fiend came close. Came close. And yet still contained. Still contained. If only they would just let themselves be embraced by the darkness just for a moment, because there are some that we can play with over there.
That would be interesting, very interesting to see that in NXT and show something so different to the people and show what the darkness is to larger scale. Um, I wanted to ask you a few words because Kevin Sullivan passed away a few days ago, and we know he was the boss of the Undead Realm. We all remember the segment of Alice passing, and we found out. Wow, what can you say about him and about Kevin Sullivan? What he did for you?
As much
And
as many differences we've had with our father, as many as a strained relationship we have with Morningstar himself, there is a reason that he chose Kevin Sullivan as one of his favorite meat suits, and that is the mind that came with it. Kevin Sullivan will be known throughout history, the wrestling history. They're one of the most creative and deranged minds in professional wrestling, with one of the strangest groups in old WCW, with him being the Taskmaster and all these crazy deformed creatures, the shark, the
I remember
everything
that.
everything that sort of came out of the dungeon of doom sort of paved the way for the weirdos of the future. Without the dungeon, do we have decay 20 years later? Not sure. It's difficult to see the path of those timelines, but Kevin Sullivan is definitely somebody who paved that trail and will be remembered as the meat suit father was wearing when he had our bunny killed.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I still have this picture somewhere in one of my discs somewhere. It's one of the picture I love, and he will keep with him the secret of Ali's death. So, um,
Do you know that pops up every month or so? Someone needs to remind us. And we've started taking note. Perhaps that reminder is important. Perhaps we're supposed to remember the pain and the grief and the anger and the wrath that we felt that night and hold on to that.
what a night it was! I remember Su Young, you, James Mitchell, Ali. Would you like to see the bunny back?
We'd love to. We just haven't figured out how to resurrect her yet. Whatever they did to her soul, it's beyond the
You
reach.
would be way better than me to do that. Way better. I'm just mere
Doing
mortal.
our
So.
best. Doing our
But how do you
best.
explain the fact that Decay, so it's been 8 years. Decay is a faction that is still there, that is still in the fans' minds. And how do you explain that? How do you explain this? The same way we love The Undertaker and when we love the mystique, sorry, around him. Do you feel like the same mystique around Decay is something that the fans really enjoy and make the faction be such steady things for 8 years?
There's something to be said for the loyalty and the kind of ravenous dedication of a TNA fan. And something like Decay, which is born, bred, raised TNA. And it's something that's very much iconically, this was the weird bits of TNA. This was belonged at TNA. This is for the weirdo fans of TNA, and they embraced it, and they still do. And while Decay may not be a power faction currently in TNA, it is always bubbling beneath the surface that there could be another resurrection. There could be another return of this group when needed, because it is belonging to TNA. This group was formed here, so therefore it belongs to the TNA fans, and that's why they're so rabid about it. It didn't start somewhere else and then come here. It was always theirs. It was always part of the hive. It was all formed here in TNA, and it all came together with them actively. There was nothing for them to catch up on. They were there from the spawning moment to follow and track all of the antics that went forward. It always belonged to TNA. So it feels like that's why they latch on so ravenously to it, because it's something of theirs that returns every now and then to cause more chaos.
And what do you think of the current Knockouts roster right now?
Ooh,
Another
exciting.
question will come after. But for the moment, I would just ask you that. The current roster right now.
What do we think of it? It's exciting. There's so many strong forces in that division, much as there always has been throughout the history, as we mentioned, with people coming in to prove themselves at TNA, to people coming in proving themselves in the Knockouts division. And it is so strong and diverse, and there's so many different styles. There's hard hitting, there's the strength. Jordynne Grace might be the strongest human we've ever faced in single combat, male or female. We cannot explain to you how effortlessly she just picks you up off your feet. There's nothing you can do about it. She's just so strong. And then you have people like Tasha Steeles, who's much smaller in comparison, but so much faster, so much more conniving. She's always one step ahead in the planning. You think you've got her, she planned for that, and she's going to come get you when you're not paying attention now to this other thing. You've got Alicia Edwards, who has gone from being somebody who perhaps mistakenly a lot of people underestimated to being one of the most vilified and hated characters on the show, because she'll stop at nothing to get what she wants. That kind of drive. You've got Giselle Shaw, who can kick you from across the rings with her 7-foot legs. You've got there's just so many options. You've got Masha Slamovich, who you don't even know what she's screaming at you in the ring, but you know it's going to hurt. There's so many exciting battles to match up with, and there's still people that we haven't faced one-on-one, like Zaya Brookside, the little angel. Perhaps she wants to play with a demon.
So your knife is ready for a lot of people. And I think for this chat, it was amazing as always. Thank you for being who you are.
Thank you.
I love you so much. You know it. And I'm going to tell you bye-bye and enjoy.
Take care. Keep a light on.